Hey guys,
Uh,
Alex here, and I'm here with a very special guest, Dan. How you doing?
I'm good. How are y'all doing?
Pretty good. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your car?
Okay, well, my name's Dan Deering, and basically, my position in movies has been armorer, and that's what I primarily do as an armorer. And a friend of mine named Will Kaufman, who is a good director, got some great movies out right now. And first movie I worked with him on was a movie called Sinners and Saints. We had previously worked on a project, and I'd asked him if he ever shot another movie or something. I would like to come and see it, not to be in it, but just to work on it. And he calls me up and says, "Hey, can you come up with some props and stuff? And I want you to be the assistant armorer on the movie because I have a background in firearms." And it was going to be a cop movie, so I sent him pictures of a car I had, which was at the time, an old retired Fort Worth PD car, and he used that in the movie as the main character's car. The second unit cameraman drove it down to New Orleans, where we primarily filmed, and having to have another vehicle to drive, I drove my '70 Road Runner down there. And when he saw that, he's like, "Oh, we're using that." So right off the bat, it's like, I've got two cars in this movie, and I'm the assistant armorer. And in Sinners and Saints, the character played by Sean Patrick Flannery is the driver of the car. Unfortunately, in Sinners and Saints, you only get to see it for just a couple of quick scenes. And from that, skip forward a few years, and they're starting a new movie called Daylight's End, which of course now has come out, but he wanted to use the Roadrunner in that movie. Now, I initially was a little hesitant because, it's a post-apocalyptic movie,
Yeah.
want to put armor on it and all this stuff. And while the car itself is not in prime condition, it's a little rough, but I tell you, it's pretty hard to start thinking about putting stuff on the car, where you're going to be drilling holes and things like that, even though it's a rough car. So initially I backed out,
Oh,
and they had, he had told me they had another car lined up.
what kind of
It's like,
car?
okay, it was my understanding, it was a Mustang that somebody had like turned into a four-wheel drive and kind of a Mad Max type vehicle.
Like a modern Mustang or like a '60s Mustang?
I believe it was an older one. I'm not sure. I never did see it, nor did I see any pictures of it.
I gotcha.
So he calls me back later and said the guy flaked on him, and
Oh, jeez.
so it's like, well, man, I couldn't turn my friend down. But the problem was I had a week to come up with armor for this thing. So
Holy cow.
I spent 7 days. I worked 10-hour days basically, designed and built all that armor and fitted it to that car.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you, yeah, when you were designing that, was there any other kind of like armaments you wanted to add to it, but you didn't have time to add it?
No, not really. I basically kind of worked with the material I had, and I just had a basic idea of what I wanted it to do. The side windows back there, they're not going to be anything, so they can be solid. The rear window needed to be solid. Now, the front glass, I made it into a two-piece deal because initially in the movie, there was going to be a scene where he is assembling the armor onto the car. But that was going to take a while, and it just didn't work out.
Oh.
And so anyway, he's got to have a way into the car, and that was probably my biggest problem right there. I made the armor on the passenger side car solid, where the passenger side door essentially could not open.
Oh wow.
But the driver's side, he's going to have to get in and out. So I fixed it where it was mounted to the door, and inside and out. And I fixed it where there's basically a hinged latch, where when he shut the door, he grabbed hold of that latch and it cammed up and locked into place. So it could be driven with the armor on it, and it wouldn't be like flopping around or something.
Oh, that's awesome. I was gonna ask, is it hard to see out of that when
Absolutely.
when the front cage is on?
Oh yes, it's awful.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I'm telling you. It was the armor is rusty because the material is rusty, and that was not like made that way. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And the light would reflect off the windshield, and it would just there was this almost a red glare from the rusty material. And I took it off and spray painted it flat black, hoping that would stop some of the glare.
Yeah.
It didn't help. There was no help. Now, the daylight was not too bad. The really bad stuff was at night.
Mm-hmm.
We filmed over in Dallas and filmed at the old downtown police station. We filmed there for a month. And so we would have the car out front. And at night, when we finished driving, pardon me, when we finished filming, I'd have to drive it back to Throttle Films where we kept it. And so I'm having to drive through Dallas with this armor on because it was such a pain in the butt to take on and off.
Oh yeah.
It was rough.
Jeez. Did the actor actually drive the car himself, or was there a stunt driver for that?
Oh yes, Johnny drove the scenes where he comes in right at the first of the movie, comes into the gas station when he pulls the freezer out.
Yeah.
And then when he takes off there, and also when they're coming into the police station there.
Uh-huh.
Now some of the other scenes, like when they're driving into town, they're racing into town. That's me driving.
Oh, so did you get like stuntman credit for that?
And at the end of the movie where he drives off, kind of they're driving off into the sunset. That's me driving the car.
Oh, that's awesome.
Many of the scenes where you do not see Johnny, that I'm driving the car. So because it's like, why make Johnny drive the car? He's not seen. Nobody's seen. You're just seeing the car go. So there's no need to involve him. So.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Oh well, you mentioned the freezer scene.
Right.
Were there any challenges in filming that scene? It seemed like it might have taken a lot more than one take, maybe.
Actually, we did it in like 2 takes. Now, there's always a safety take. You take it a couple times. But one of the problems was we had one freezer. So we couldn't, it was like you couldn't damage it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
It's like you take it out of there, and, if it like ripped the lid off or something like that, then, we'd have been done. But it pretty much, we went with the first scene. And Johnny drove. He's got a good rooster tail coming off the tire there.
Yeah.
It looks great. It's awesome looking. He did a fantastic job. Johnny's a good driver.
Uh-huh.
And
were you afraid that the freezer was going to hit your car and like damage it more? Do you think? Or?
no, not really. No, I had. We knew he was going to have that scene, and Will, he's like, we got to have some way to attach a chain. So I actually, people will just freak out about this stuff. I welded 2 links of chain on the back of the car. That's welded to the subframe back there.
Uh-huh.
And I got that blue hook hanging off of it. You see Johnny when he kicks the chain off. But no, I didn't have any problem with that. I knew, having an idea when he pulled it, it was going to stop because it's this big, flat, heavy thing. It's just not going to have enough momentum to overcome the drag. So it wasn't a big deal.
Oh yeah, for sure. So we're talking about all the attachments. Okay, yeah. So yeah, in Daylight's End, the car obviously has a lot of armored plating. What kind of material exactly did you use for that? And how long after the movie was finished did you keep the plating and all those modifications onto your car?
Okay, well, I would take them off just if I did not have to have it on there. I took it off, and it all would fit in the trunk of the car. So that was kind of handy. I could carry it around with me, and I just carried a DeWalt battery-powered drill, and I could just put it on. Because it's just held on with sheet metal screws.
Yeah.
Once again, we're dealing with a movie, and it's fantasy, so it doesn't really actually have to repel zombies. It only has to look like it does.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, there's some people out there that's like, man, that stuff wouldn't work at all. So it doesn't have to. There's no zombies. It just has to
Exactly.
look like it would. So, but yeah, it was just made out of expanded metal and sheet metal. That's all it is.
Gotcha. And so after you took all that stuff off, I'm assuming you took it all off already.
Oh
Um,
sure.
yeah, has it left like holes in your body? Is it
Oh yeah.
noticeable?
There's it's like the oh my goodness. There's probably about a dozen screw holes in it
Oh man.
in part. Now one of the funny things is after I'd taken it off, I'd be driving down the road and I'd hear this sound,
Oh.
and it's like, what is that? And then I realized that was the air whistling over some of the holes. So I just, the cheap guy here, I just put some RTV silicone over it so they wouldn't whistle. But the car is in process. It's got rust on it. It's got some rust out from years of being out in the weather. And if you know Chrysler stuff, they have that what they call standard Chrysler rust. It's
Yeah.
around the corners. It's on the bottom of the trunk down there. And so these are things that are going to have to be dealt with. And so if you're going to be dealing with that, what is a dozen little screw holes that you're going to weld up with a wire welder? It's no big deal.
Oh,
So
exactly.
that's why I didn't worry about it too much. That's some people that were, came on set and looked and they just wigged out that you drilled holes into this Road Runner. It's
Oh,
like, well, dude, look
yeah.
at the rest of the car, man. It's going to have to be painted. It's going to have body work. It's just more body work. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
no big deal.
Wait, so what kind of paint job are you gonna give it? Anything like really really fancy or anything? Or
No, what I would like to do is just basically a restification. I would like it to look original. It won't have the original engine in it and things like that. The car started out life as a 383 automatic with air.
uh-huh.
And so it's right now it's a 440 with a 4-speed in it.
Gotcha.
And as a matter of fact, it's actually got an 833 overdrive in it right now.
Dang.
And that'll go away and it'll go back to a regular 833. And I've got a 440 that's punched out to 502 that'll go in it eventually. So
Jeez.
it will run much better than it does now. So, but I would like to what I want to do eventually. And I was talking to Will last night. I'm getting off on a tangent here.
Oh, that's fine.
And
Good, I guess.
you had mentioned something to me talking earlier about a sequel or something like that, and I mentioned
Yeah.
that to Will, and he's like, I told Will, I said, well, we're gonna have to, if we're gonna have a sequel, I'll never be able to fix this car up again.
Yeah.
And he said, no, he goes, man, well, the fans will never let you anyway. So, like, well, I guess I'm stuck then. Driving
That's
it.
awesome. Yeah. So no paint jobs yet.
Yeah, my dream was I was going to paint it petty blue. Leave it alone and paint it petty blue.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And,
Like a race car.
I wanted to leave the old cop wheels on it, but it's getting to the point where it's impossible to find any performance tires that are 15 inch. So I'm probably going to have to go to a 17 or bigger wheel.
Gotcha. Oh, that kind of brings back to one of my questions I was going to ask you. You kind of answered it already, though. But how much of the car is still stock, and what kind of changes have you made to it over the years, which you haven't mentioned already?
Okay, well, the car is essentially stock. It did have an Auburn unit in it that was added in, and the Auburn unit unfortunately went south, so I took it out, and it's got a single track rear end with a 323 gear, and it started out life, like I said, as a 383 automatic with air. I took the air box out of it, and because it just weighs a ton, it wasn't being used. Took that out. The 383 disappeared years ago, and interestingly enough, that 383 ended up in a buddy of mine's Challenger.
Whoa.
Yeah, he bought it from the guy that originally owned this car years and years ago. So it's kind of one of those things. It's a small world,
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, yeah, and then it's a 4-speed too, no longer an automatic. So the friend of mine that I bought it from, he used to street race it all the time, and he wanted it as light as possible. And so all the interior has been stripped out of it. He had some plastic racing buckets in it, which I hated, so I bought some better bucket seats in it, which you see in the movie.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things that was kind of fortuitous by stripping out all the interior, because Chryslers are notorious about rusting and then water getting in them and stuff. People that leave the carpet and all that stuff inside of it, the water get underneath it and rot the floorboards out of it. This thing has mint floorboards. The paint is still on it.
Oh my gosh.
And it's real funny to talk to Mopar people, and they're like, one of the first questions they'll ask is, "What do the floorboards look like?" It's like, well, they're perfect because the carpet was ripped out of it very early on.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Jeez.
And it's one of those things that having all that stuff taken out of it played to the advantage in the movie, because it just looks like a stripped down bare bones car, which is one of the things that makes it look that much better for the film.
Yeah, man, when I saw that car, I was like, ooh, Mad Max. Here it comes.
Yeah.
Set in a zombie apocalypse.
Now, interestingly enough, the color on the car was originally, it was what they called ice blue metallic.
Yeah.
And the friend, there's kind of a weird trading of vehicles here. The friend I bought it from had sold it to a mutual friend of ours, and that guy, he drove it for a few weeks and then parked it under a walnut tree, and that's why the paint looks like it does. Because never park your vehicle under nut trees like pecans or walnuts. You may not have that thing in your area.
Oh, we
but
don't.
down here, there's lots of they weep sap in the summertime, and it will destroy the paint. And that's what it did to that car. That's why it looks like it does. And so my
very
buddy,
vintage.
yeah. So my buddy bought it back from him, started working on it, and then I ended up buying it from him. So that's how I ended up with it.
Oh, and do you know how long ago that was when you owned the car?
I bought the car from Ashley back in. Gosh, I'm trying to think. It had to be back about 96 or 97, somewhere in there. Something like that. And I've driven it on and off. It's been a daily driver for on and off for years.
Yeah.
So
that's fantastic. Oh, let me scratch this question off. Do you have any like amusing like anecdotes, like behind the scenes stuff from the movie?
Well, I wish I could think of some. I know. Oh, there's always some.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to think of something. If I'd known, man, if I'd known ahead of time, I probably could have.
Oh, you know what? We can come back to that question.
Okay.
All right.
I don't know if my brain will work that fast or not. But.
Oh, it's okay. This might be obvious, but how many Road Runners were used in the movie, or was it just your one car?
Just that one. Just that
nice.
one.
And let me ask you, would you ever wreck your car in a movie?
Would I what?
Would you ever wreck your car for a movie?
Well, it's one of those things they say, everything's for sale.
That's
so
true.
It's like, now if they paid me crazy stupid money, and we're talking about like you could go out and buy a restored Superbird. Okay, I'll let you wreck it. But we're talking, like 6-digit stuff. It'd be stupid crazy. People are rolling their eyes going, "What are you talking about?" It's like, well, it would have to be nuts, because there's a lot of history with that car with people I know, and it's a neat car. 70 was a one-off body style, and it's a cool-looking car, man. So I just couldn't, because of the people that had it, the people that were in my life, and I could not do that. It would have to be crazy money.
To get your Superbird.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
That's awesome. Earlier you mentioned that you guys, like in an email, you mentioned that you guys filmed a lot more footage of your car.
Right.
You even said that you planned to make that scene where the guy was putting the armor on.
Right.
What other kind of footage did we not see in the movie?
Are you talking about as far as the car goes, or for other? Yeah. Well, we filmed with the car when we'd go with just a skeleton crew. We filmed the opening sequences filmed in Glen Rio, Texas, which is right on the New Mexico Texas border. And you see that filling station where he pulls up there, and there's that old white Pontiac sitting out there and stuff. Now, here's something that's kind of interesting. You see those two buildings there. There's one building that, as you're looking at the gas station, it's off to the left. Those two buildings were used for the idea for some of the buildings in Radiator Springs in the movie Cars.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I'm not sure which buildings they are in the movie Cars, but they looked at that and saw, hey, that's kind of cool, and they, because it's all based on like an old town and stuff like that. But anyway, we filmed up there, and there's some scenes, like when the car comes over the hill and it's coming right at the camera and it just skims by. Well, I did that. I was driving that then.
Oh, sweet.
And I had that thing. I had a Tahoe, a borrowed Tahoe, and a car dolly. And we would film. I'd put the car back on the car dolly, and then we'd drive somewhere, get the car off the car dolly, and drive around, and they'd get out with the camera and film. And then we went to a town called Pampa, which is up in the Panhandle of Texas. And it's like, unfortunately, so many of those old farming towns, it's kind of a dead town. So there's lots of old abandoned buildings and stuff. And they would set up on a corner, and I would come driving around the corner or something like that. And there was a bunch of that we filmed, but we just ended up not using it for various reasons. A lot of it has to do with time. It's funny, you film this stuff, and it doesn't look like there's any way you could fill up an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And then it's amazing how much film is actually thrown away because they just don't have room for it.
Oh, exactly.
We filmed, a bunch in Dallas. I'm racing around and, around corners and stuff like that. So
that's awesome. Oh, do you think you could ask your director friend if you could add it to the DVD, maybe? Like deleted scenes?
Okay, yeah, director's cut with that.
Yeah.
Deleted scenes, yeah.
Make it like a 3-hour movie. That'd be awesome.
Well, he said him and Mark Hansen, the guy that plays Burton. We were talking about. He goes, "Man, you need to have a page for the car. You need to have a page for the car." Well, if I could get you to run it for me, then Mark, I'll have one. But I don't know that I'd be up to speed enough to keep that updated.
Hey, you totally should. I mean, I can't think of the last movie that actually had a Road Runner, in a starring role. I think Cars would be the closest thing with the Superbird.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a cartoon. Exactly.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Right.
Let me see. All right, I think you already answered some of this. Oh, have you ever been contacted about your car being in other like movies or TV shows?
No, not for that one. Not well, actually, no Cars at all. There was a call put out by somebody that's filming something that's some post-apocalyptic, supposedly kind of a documentary type thing, and they were having a premiere in Dallas coming up, and they put a call out on Craigslist. Somebody sent it to me. They wanted any kind of Mad Max looking cars. And I responded to the guy, but it seemed like, well, that's nah. So I didn't go any farther with that. No pursuit.
Yeah, forget that. And you kind of touched on this, but any hopes of seeing a bigger role for your car in a Daylight's End sequel?
I don't know. That's entirely up to Will and the writer and the powers that be as far as that goes. So I don't know, and I am not going to put words in anybody's mouth nor give anybody any false hope that there is going to be a sequel. I know anytime, movies made and fans, people like it, it's like, man, we need a sequel. But like I say, somebody has to write that script. And so if Chad Law was the writer of this movie, and if he feels so moved, then maybe it'll happen. I don't know.
Well, now, please write it.
Yeah. I've got all the armor stacked out in a barn, so it's not going anywhere. So.
Oh, man. That's awesome. So, wait, back to this question. Do you have any, like anecdotes from the.
Oh, the
from
anecdotes. Well, one of the things. Now, I was the armor in the movie primarily. That was my primary job, and
Yeah.
the car just ended up being secondary. But I ended up providing several of the cars in the Marauders scene where they're panning across, and you see that white. It says Fair Creek Police.
Yeah.
Okay, that was my old daily driver Chevrolet.
Oh, was it really?
That's the car that Johnny Strong as Sean Riley drives in Sinners and Saints. Same
that's
car.
awesome.
Yeah, and when you're looking up the street up there and the Marauders come down, you're from Johnny's or Rourke's point of view, and you're looking past the police car, that green Tahoe up there. That was my Tahoe. And then and then I came up with those two, the station wagon and a little blue car that got shot up.
Yeah.
So I came up with those too. So it's kind of like I was an inadvertent car wrangler in the movie. So I didn't have anything to do with the military vehicles. That was another guy named Mark Whittam, who has a really neat military museum out in Nevada, Texas. But anyway, I guess one of the other things, as far as being the armor in the movie, one of the things that's kind of funny, it's always stuck with me, was towards the end of the movie, and you see Frank, played by Lance Henriksen.
I love that guy.
Yeah, he's great. Awesome dude, man.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. And his last stand there, where he fires, he has a double-barrel shotgun, and then he shoots it, throws it down, and goes to his 45, and then they overwhelm him by numbers. Well, he would shoot the shotgun, boom, boom, and then go to his 45, and he's like, I didn't like that. I want to do that again.
Uh-oh.
Well, I had a very limited number of shotgun shells, and we had other people shooting shotguns. And so it's like, and we went through nearly a box of shells just for his scene, which was, that doesn't, to many people, probably doesn't sound like much, but to me, that was like, man, we're going to, I don't know what we're going to do. We run out of shotgun.
Like, woo!
We started out with light ones. They have quarter, half, and full blanks.
Yeah.
And you always, we're inside this building. It's an old police station. It's up there where they kept Oswald and Jack Ruby when they were arrested. That's where we're
that's
filming.
Crazy.
And I'll give you another, anyway, very loud up there, very loud. And we're going from quarter blanks, and then we have to move up to the half blanks. And at the end of the movie, like the scenes where Mark Hansen is shooting down the hallways, and Ernesta gets killed there, we're shooting full blanks, and it's rank. It's loud.
Oh, man.
It's really bad.
That's awesome.
But another anecdotal thing, the scene where you see him coming down that ramp, and the door slides to, and Rourke is shooting at the Alpha, recognizing that is the ramp that, now this will probably make a lot of people's hair fly, that's the ramp that Jack Ruby walked down. And walked down there, and those doors that were covered with tin, that's the double doors there. Actually, those glass doors weren't there, but it was through that way. That's where Oswald was killed, right there.
Whoa, that's creepy.
Yeah, we filmed right there, and all of that happened. Oh, yeah.
I'd be scared.
Yeah. It was, he filmed there a month, and the bottom floor is still used, or at the time was still used for municipal court, for like traffic citations and such. The second floor, there was some office using, and then the third, fourth, and fifth were abandoned. And we did most of our filming, or primarily all our filming, either on the fifth floor or up on the roof. Yeah. And on the fifth floor, the third, fourth, and fifth floor, there's no ventilation. And so we're up on the fifth floor, and essentially it was anywhere from 95 to 100 plus degrees up there with 50 to 60% humidity. It was unbelievable. And so when you see all those characters and they look like they're sweating and all that stuff and miserable, it was. It was
real?
miserable. It's real. It's real.
Method
Everybody's
acting.
their clothing just soaked in sweat.
Jeez, that would have
And
sucked.
Kat Bernier, who is our awesome makeup director, she headed up all the makeup. She's the one she just was going out of her mind having to deal with all the zombies and stuff, trying to keep the makeup going. And she did
like melting.
makeup job. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, it is rough on her, but she did a wonderful job. Wonderful job.
Yeah, the makeup was awesome in that movie. Yeah. Dang. I got 2 more questions.
Okay. Yeah.
This one I just kind of thought of it just now. Yeah, towards the beginning, when the main character is running away from his car, to seek shelter.
Sure.
He leaves his door open on his car. Was that meant to be that way?
It just happened that way. It just happened that way. Of course, he gets out, and then, of course, Chelsea or Sam and Annabelle have to get out on the driver's side.
Yeah.
Because it's sealed up on the other side. So it's just one of those things. It just happened. It was not planned. It just happened. But then, it's like a dog chasing a car, a zombie chasing a car. They can't drive it, so what are they going to do with it,
That's true.
So it was not really worried about. I mean, you realize, later on in the movie, we have the alpha that is kind of getting these guys to do stuff, and they move these cars, but I guess it never really dawned on him. It's like, hey, that's one of the lead characters. We need to destroy his car.
It was fantastic.
Here's a good one. I forgot about this. In Sinners and Saints, Johnny's character, his personal car is a '74 El Camino.
Was that in the movie?
Yes. Well, not in Daylight Sin. It's in Sinners and Saints.
Oh, okay.
And they were going to abandon the car. They were just going to leave it. We finished filming in some projects in South Dallas, and they're like, "Do you want it?" It's like, "Yeah, I'll take it."
What?
So I hauled it off. I have that car, and it was in a scene where it got shot up, and so I trailered it out to a friend of mine's house and left it out there for a little while. They ended up having to take it out to a place out here where I live and parked it. But I drove it out there. It was pretty funny driving that thing, going to the gas station. It's got bullet holes all in. The windows are shot out of it and stuff.
And it's an El Camino.
Look at it, like, do I need to ask what happened to your car, man? It was just used in the movie. It's okay.
If you're getting any more free cars, let me know.
Yeah. I don't think the white Chevy's going to make it, though.
I remember I was watching Daylights, and it looked like there was an El Camino in that movie, like for a split second. It was like, I forget what scene it was, because I was looking at the cars in the movie. I'm like, is that an El Camino, or is that something that looks similar to it?
Well, if it is, it's just something in the background.
Yeah, it wasn't used at all. It was just driving past it. Right.
Yeah. That's possible. That's possible, because some things, we would film a scene. And, like in downtown Dallas. And, this is one of the good things about doing it on the computer is we didn't have to worry about, street lights and stuff like that because they could just edit that out on the computer.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Whereas like you're filming, you can't have anything like that. You gotta cover it. But on the digital stuff, they just wipe that out. So we would literally film on streets where there were people, and then they would just digitally erase the people.
Oh my gosh!
Oh yeah. Well, all that scene in front, those scenes where you're looking at the front of the police station, like you see all those guys come out.
Yeah.
And they're walking around to see the cars piled up at the ramp.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's a 7-Eleven on the corner. There's street lights going. There's cars driving back and forth. Because we would get that little section of street in front of the old police station, but everything else was operating.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, and so they digitally alter all that stuff. It's amazing what they can do now,
Yeah. If I was one of those people, I'd be like, oh, no, keep me in the movie, please. Keep me in.
Oh, yeah, it was a constant thing to keep people, we had police out there dealing with stuff. deal with these people all the time. I had a cart that I carried all my firearms on. It just roll around like a Rubbermaid cart. It was just an easy way to deal with it. Because when you're arming like anywhere from 5 to 20 people, it's tough to, keep all this stuff up. Well, anyway, there was this one old lady, and she's like, "Why's he got all those guns there? What's he doing with all these?" And there's a policeman standing there right beside me, and he's like, "Ma'am, it's okay. I'm here. He's with the movie. It's all okay." And then about 3 or 4 minutes later, you hear this call over his radio. We've got a report of somebody with guns down at the dog park. He's like, "Yeah, that's here at the movie. We're okay. Don't worry about it."
And there's a cop standing next to him.
Yeah, but that lady had gone and called 911.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, at those premieres, did you park your car outside so people can see it?
Well, interestingly enough, we tried to set up a deal where we were going to put. This was at the movie premiered at the Dallas International Film Festival, and this is at the Angelica Theater. And we tried to set up a deal where we could pull it up in front of the theater, but they wouldn't do it. Oh. But there's the interesting thing is there's kind of a foyer between these buildings and stuff that go to the theater, and it comes out, and then there's the Dallas area rapid transit, a little bus or a train station there, and then you cross the street, and then there's the parking lot. And when I pulled up, I pulled into the parking lot, and I circled around looking for a parking spot, and I'm thinking, man, it'd be cool. And there is a car, the front parking spot. He's backing out and leaves, and I pulled the car right in there. Now, I didn't have the armor on it, but the car was there.
Oh,
so anybody that walked to that big parking lot saw the car. They could not help but see the car. So I saw a few posts on Facebook where people are posing with the car.
I was going to say, I would have taken a picture of that.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Oh, yeah. But that was happenstance, so
that's fantastic.
There. And unfortunately, right now, the car is not running. I burned the clutch out of it. Or actually, I should say burned the clutch out of it. One of the clutch rods on the flex plate broke, and so I had to pull the clutch out of it. I just haven't put a clutch back in it yet. So,
oh, gotcha. I hope so. That'd be a tragedy.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I was just sitting in the driveway. So now here's a good one. Here's you some anecdotal stuff.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay. We went back. We used to make the joke that this was daylight's never ending, because it seemed like we were perpetually. Will would call me up, I swear, about every week and a half. Go, "Hey man, can we use the car again? Or do you have this prop, or do you have that prop, or whatever?" It's like, yeah, okay. Well, they wanted to do some sound, some Foley. So Ed Spila, who played Bishop, he's a Dallas cop. And over by the old Texas Stadium where the Dallas Cowboys used to play, there's a big old parking lot out there. There used to be this freight hub center where all these trucks would come in, big freight depot. Well, they're tearing it down. And so he got permission somehow. And it's a big old huge area. So we went over there with the sound guy, and so I drove the car over there, and they start out, we do some sound stuff, like cranking the car and revving the engine. And then they set up a microphone, and I'd come racing by, or come by, shifting the gear so you'd hear that stuff. And anyway, there's two things happened that day. One was car is sitting there idling and it quits.
Uh-oh.
It's like, oh, crap. Well, this thing, old cars have problems.
Yeah, for sure.
Old cars, man. The fuel pump went out on it.
Oh, man.
And it had an electric fuel pump on it. It's like, oh, man, the fuel pump's dead on it. I said, well, don't worry about it. I got another one. So I had another electric fuel. So I wired up a new fuel pump. They couldn't decide. Who in the hell carries a fuel pump extra around with them?
Like your backpack?
Because I'm driving this old car. That's why. That's why it's full toolbox too.
That's awesome.
Anyway, so he do some more driving around and stuff, and come back, and Ed, he points out, he goes, "Man, you got a flat going there." So sure enough, that tire's going. I mean, it's flat. Take it off, put the spare on there, and while I'm doing that, they're looking around. It's like, well, that tire's got a screw in it. That tire's got a screw.
Oh my gosh!
What had happened is apparently they hired like day labor to take this building apart, and it had sheet metal on it, and it's held on with sheet metal screws. So they're just out there with like screw guns, just unscrewing this building and just throwing the screws in the parking lot.
Oh, I see.
And I picked up 18 screws in those tires.
Damn.
This was a set of tires that I only had about 1,000 miles on.
Yeah.
And ended up having 14 patches on these tires.
Wow. I've been really upset.
Sorry, dogs, you ruined my set of tires,
Yeah.
All for the sake of your film.
I'd be like, Kaufman?
Yeah.
I want my Superbird.
Oh, man. But, yeah. But it was a great time, and it's probably the best. Well, yeah, I would have to say it's probably the best time I've had working on a film. It's certainly I had more invested in this film than any other, because I did, like I say, did all the firearms in it.
Yeah.
Now we did rent a couple of, but the vast majority of 95% of them I provided.
Uh-huh.
And then did all the blanks and stuff.
And finally, any closing thoughts that you want to say? First off, I want to say thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I'm very honored by this. First time talking to an owner of a movie car.
Well, I hope I haven't been rambling too much.
No,
so.
no, I love this kind of stuff.
But no, I appreciate taking this time and listening to me rattle about this, because it's just as much fun for me. I haven't been doing this since about 2008. That's when we started Sinners and Saints, and so it's still, even though that's many years ago, this is still new to me, because this is the fourth feature film I've done. I've done some other little things too, but it's still lots of fun, and get excited about doing it and whatnot. And so yeah, anytime you get to talk about it, it's always a blast. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
Oh well, thank you so much for your time. I truly honored.
Absolutely.